For the first time in 3 years, we are getting an Aries new moon that is not an eclipse. So this is pure, undiluted Aries energy, no distortions, no detours. This new moon wants us real, raw, and authentic. And this is really what this video is going to be about. I want you to have a full experience of Aries, of Mars. So this video is also simultaneously a bit of an invitation for you to actually do something. And hi everyone, I'm Amia. And if you're new here, welcome to this channel. This is a channel in the realm of resonance astrology. And I always love for people, well, to not just come on here and hear me talk about things, I also want you to have an experience, because this is for me when astrology is at its best, when we are actually in tune with what is going on. And Aries energy is so much about doing. And why is it so much about doing? Because Mars is a principle of movement, of doing things. I found in all of these years that I have been having planetary relationships towards the planets in a very devotional way, that Mars is usually the happiest when I am actually just doing the things. For Venus, I love setting up my altar and making everything beautiful. Mars, so far I have noticed, Mars is just extremely happy when I am doing the things. And this will be a small astrosomatic exercise that I'm inviting you to do right now in the beginning. Again, nothing is a must. You don't have to do this with me, but this is a great way to experience what Mars is in our lives. And I think a lot of people tend to be scared of Mars energy. And this video, I really kind of want you to take this fear a bit away, slightly away, and be able that you engage with Mars, like that Mars isn't confronting you, but you're kind of confronting Mars. And we're gonna take a breath in, and we're gonna hold that breath just for a little bit. Okay, nothing too extreme. I don't want you to die, guys. If you feel the urge to breathe out before, absolutely do that. You don't have to hold your breath as long as I do, or as little as I do. You can even go a bit on board. But the important part is that once you do this, eventually you're going to feel your heartbeat. So you can do it with me. I'm going to guide you. So breathe in, put the hand on your heart, keep your breath inside, and just feel that hand on your heart. Have the breath in a little bit longer. You can breathe out now if it's too much. If you can hold it just a little bit more, hold it a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna breathe out now. What you felt is your heart beating. That life force that wants to live. And that is Mars. That life force pulsating through your heart, pulsating through your veins. That is Mars energy. That is Aries energy. I know that a lot of people don't necessarily associate Mars with that, but I feel like Mars is very like life, death, life cycle. And I do think with the Aries part, it's about that life cycle. And then when we get to the Scorpio part of Mars, it's about the death cycle. But it is a constant death and rebirth process that Mars is undergoing and undertaking. And at the same time, I think it's so interesting because when we are confronted with mortality, with death, we get injuries, there is mishaps, which is Mars, right? Like Mars, especially Mars retrogrades, and why they're so annoying is because they're like, you wanted to take action, you wanted to move, well, no, now there's an injury, something happened, we need to overcome something. It's not just that easy. Well, that is when we are confronted with, why do we actually want to do something? Why do we want to live? Talking about death is talking about life. And I know this is also a bit the realm of Saturn and Pluto. Fully agree on that. But Mars most definitely is that pulsating pulse throughout life. And that force that is like, I want to live. I want to live. And it's so often only through these moments where we are confronted with mortality that we really find the reasons why we actually want to live and stay alive for. And now Pluto in this lunation is actually quite present as well. So I'm not surprised that this energy is coming in as well here, because the ruler of this new moon, Mars, is currently sextiling Pluto. So this is potent. There is a surge of transformation, and we're also coming off the sun just conjoining Chiron. So I almost feel like there is this surge of, we're being confronted with a wound around our self-assertion and where we have felt powerless. And right after that, we've been asked to take back our power, which is so Aryan in and of itself. This is also, I think, a lot of the Saturn and Aries story, taking back our power. And I think most of us, we're actually far more afraid of being powerful, of tapping into that power, of tapping into the responsibility of power, which I understand, because when we look at powerful people in this world, they aren't necessarily doing anything that's like super nice, you know? Like, I understand why people would be afraid of tapping into power. And at the same time, tapping into real sacred rage, which we're not going to do in this video, but this is, we can see how this moves things. Mercury is also currently in Aries. Saying your affirmations out loud, you know, being like, I want severance, I want to cut this off of my life. That is so powerful. I have experienced this a lot of times in my life. Obviously do it in a safe room. Like, if you have neighbors around you, maybe don't do it at that time. Maybe go to a quiet place in the forest. But I have done this a few times in my life where I really speak out loud with anger. You know, it doesn't have to be explosive. But like with this anger of like, oh, because, you know, anger reveals to us what is important, where maybe boundaries have been crossed or boundaries need to be set, and what truly matters. Like, anger gives us so much information. And when we speak that out loud, there is a sense of liberation and taking back our power, which is the invitation of this new moon, truly. and this feeling, that pulse, is something, a small exercise that can bring us back, like center us into the present moment. Because what Aries does so wonderfully well is that it reminds us that the wisdom lies in the present moment. It's not in the future, it's not in the past. The solution is in the present moment. The solution is in the present moment. And when you feel that pulse and truly feel into your body, like, what does it feel to be in your raw expression in that moment? Is it admitting you're super fucking tired of everything? That's valid. Is it realizing, oh, there's actually so much rage inside of me, and like, how can I express that in the moment? But is it also maybe, I'm actually super grateful and I should be in that energy of celebrating that right now? There's many things that can come up in the present moment. And usually when there's a lot of anxiety around and we're banging our heads against a wall, I know a lot of people are currently extremely confused. And this is why coming back to that present moment is so important, because you're not going to do anything good by overthinking the future. Because who knows about tomorrow? Tomorrow is not promised. That is also Aries peeking in our ears, being like, hey, tomorrow is not promised. Do it now. Do it today. And feeling the pulse of your heart, this instantly brings you back to the present moment. And then when you are in the present moment, you can usually realize, okay, what is it that I actually can do? Realistically, what is it that I actually can do? Do I need to sit with myself? Do I need to take a nap? An undiluted nap, not being on my phone and chilling on the sofa, like actually full on nap. Venus is also in Taurus, okay? We're always being invited to also touch some grass during these whole processes. and this is also a great way to get back into that present moment. or being in movement. I have found personally over this past few days, I've been walking a lot more. Every time I go out and I just move, it clears my head so much. And I also get brought back to the present moment. Why? Because when you move, when you go up these stairs, you feel your heartbeat. It brings you right back into the present moment. And your body holds the wisdom to what needs to be done next. So highly recommend doing that. You know, if you're in a super deep process right now, I super recommend rage therapy. This is sadly not something I can offer right now in this video and on this channel like that. But in my personal life, I have found this being extremely, extremely useful, like tapping into that sacred rage and bringing back your power. It's not something that is easily done, first of all. Like a lot of people are at least certainly in the beginning of my like journey of tapping into that anger, I was always extremely scared of my anger. I thought if I just tapped into it, it would just burn down whole villages. And maybe anger can be extremely powerful. It is a force that can move things, that can move mountains and move the impossible. And I think it's that's why we're so scared of power, because we're scared of all the change we actually can create in our life once we step into the sacredness of rage, of anger, and what it can actually do and how it can actually influence our lives. Because if we're being completely honest, and like I'm with you guys, okay, I'm not above that. It's because then we are responsible for our life and for our reality. And quite frankly, that is something most of us don't like to be. And at the same time, this is what Aries energy wants us to do. It's like, I'm gonna create clarity by doing the things. I'm not gonna wait for things to happen to me. I'm gonna make things happen. I'm gonna create the movement. What I want to bring in now is nettle. If you guys know, maybe you don't know, I don't talk about this so much on this channel, but there was a whole course I took, and I love foraging as well. It's like my hobby. But I took a whole class on 1 year class on astroherbalism, and nettle, by no surprise, you can probably think of a million reasons why, is a Mars plant. And if you can't figure it out, I'm going to tell you it's because it stings. It stings when we touch it, but only if we touch it the wrong way. I think what is also interesting with nettle, and what I have observed from the plant world, is that plants that are good for us usually grow nearby us. They kind of like want to be nearby us. And nettle is a plant that grows nearby, like it wants to be, like it wants to engage with us. It's usually us that are scared of it, with good reason. There is also a fabulous thing about nettle is that it's a very iron-rich plant, good for blood circulation and like cleaning up the blood. Is that how you say it in English? I'm not quite sure. I'm translating it from the German right now, but it is good for the urinary tract. And again, this is not going to be a super educational video here, but just so you kind of get the gist of it. And what rules blood? What rules iron? Well, Mars. Mars does that. So it is a very, very Martian plant. And again, it's not that nettle is dangerous in and of itself. It's that we're usually afraid to meet it. We're kind of afraid to meet nettle because we're afraid to meet Mars. Because you know what else Mars does? Is create conflict in our life. Because Mars rules over the aspect of squares. And squares are conflicting themes in our life. But what Mars wants is to overcome things, because Mars wants victory. And let me tell you this. Have you ever read a book or a movie where there wasn't tension inside it? Something to overcome? So we need that. We need conflict. We need something that we want to overcome. And yet at the same time, we're kind of shying away from it. Connecting to nettle is connecting to the plant world is an amazing way to, if if you're not so good at conflicts, start with connecting to the natural world, because, you know, nettle is not a person in that sense that will talk back to you. Even though plants do communicate with us, they don't communicate with us exactly as humans do. But this is a great way to, you know, get in touch with that part. And I'm going to show you a small ritual that you can do. It's called urtication. And people have been doing that in the ancient times when you had certain aches in your body. You know, like your ankles were hurting and something. People would take nettle and they would brush it, or like kind of gently hit, you know, the parts of the wrists, or, oh, I said ankles before, the wrists, I meant the wrists, but maybe your ankles. And that would basically kind of inflame the body, which is also what Mars does in medical astrology. Mars can talk about inflammation in the body. And so what we are doing with this ritual is, instead of Mars coming to us and like making us overwhelmed, which I'm sure it is doing that for some of you right now, is that we are going towards Mars. We are meeting Mars. We are going into conflict with Mars. We are invoking Mars first before it does that to us, which is training us to be in that present moment. Because also a lot of us, you know, when we think of regulation, we think of skills that are here to calm us down, but rarely do we talk about the fact that regulation is also having skills to be in conflict, to be in tension. That is what a lot of people are missing. And I'm not saying here I have all these solutions, but this is one way that you can consciously engage in, you know, conflict, because it's like, you know, why would you technically cause inflammation upon yourself? But there is wisdom in all of that. There is wisdom in all of that. And I'm obviously going to demonstrate here. I'm not just going to talk. Okay. So what you can do, first of all, this is how you can hold nettle. The thing about nettle, when you pick it, so you have to remember that the hairs here on the leaves and on the stem, they're growing outwards. So when you go like this, you know, which is what most people do, or go on the sides, this is when you get burned, because this is exactly when the hairs are going to sting you. So when you pick nettle, you usually do it from, you know, like if I do this, nothing is happening. I'm not getting stung. If I would do it in the opposite direction, I would immediately get stung. And now we are kind of going to sting ourselves. And so what you can do, literally, is gently, yeah, it's already happening. And it's going to do that stinging sensation. Go over your body. We're going to inflame our bodies here a bit. But it's good for circulation. And you can also do this. You can... I'm sorry. I hope I'm not being like too stereotypical Scorpio rising here, where I'm just like having a resting bitch face, whatever I do. It is stinging me, guys. It is stinging me, guys. But I've just done this a few times. That it doesn't, yeah. When you anticipate it, you know. Okay, I'm gonna stop now, because otherwise I won't be fully able to focus. But this is, I feel the stinginess. It's called stinging nettle around my arm right now. Whew, and I already feel that life force activating through me. And this is how you train courage. You train Mars. You don't let Mars wield you, you wield Mars. And now it's also, I don't know if you see it, but it is kind of getting red here a bit. Yeah, I'm feeling it now. I'm gonna have to do the other arm after I finish this video, so it feels equal on both sides. But I think this is just such a good exercise to be in the present moment, because you just have to do it. There's no overthinking. You just move with it. And then, you know, the nettle, the stinginess, the small inflammation that you're causing, that is then actually activating your circulation, is, you know, infusing you with being in that present moment. Because as soon as you have pain, you're going to be in the present moment. And you know what's also funny, right? If you have right, if you have pain on some place, and you're so focused on that pain. But if you inflict pain or something like that on another part of your body, you're immediately going to shift the present focus to that part, which means presence is something that can be trained. That is Aries. That is an Arian practice. And I'm really trying to make this practical here, because I could sit here and talk about Aries like all day long for sure, but I want you to walk away with something that you can actually do for your life, because I think the worst place to be right now, and I know a lot of people are there right now, is like being in confusion and being in overwhelm. And how can you combat that? You know, how can you combat that? Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable just sitting here and giving you the archetypal explanation. Instead, I'm really trying to give you tools so you can log off this video and hopefully come here a few days later and be like, thank you, Mia. You got me into the present moment and you made me be able to do a task that I've been putting off for a while. Like, that's what I want you to be able to do with this video, quite frankly. And even if you come work in sessions with me, I always want you to walk away with something tangible and practical to do in your life that you can apply. Because sometimes astrology can be like super like head heavy. And we need to, with all these Aries energy present this year, we need to bring it into the body. The wisdom is in the body and in the present moment. So I think this is what I'm going to leave you with, guys. Let me know if you have any questions and I will gladly answer them. And let me know if you've enjoyed this type of video, because I do want to incorporate more of my plant wisdom and also definitely give you practical tools and tips and everything. And hopefully even one day maybe organize astro-somatic sessions, because for me it's always the most useful when I can actually experience the astrology instead of just thinking about it, because then it brings me closer to actually doing things in my life. And usually what most people are scared of with astrology is that they feel like they're a victim of it. And right now all of this is kind of like bringing you out of that. It wants you to bring you out of that. So hopefully I could also bring you a bit outside of that. If that's the job that this video did, then I am more than happy and more than grateful. And now I'm gonna stop yapping. By the way, I have my Kill Bill shirt on. Which I've got so long ago. It used to be one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies, and it just felt so fitting for this video. I even have a Kill Bill sword in my living room, so here you go. I think it's also such a Martian film in and of itself. Even a bit of Mars and Cancer hidden in there, which we can maybe talk about when we get to summer and Mars moves back into Cancer again. But this is what I have for now. I wish you a lovely day, and I wish you a moon in Aries that can actually shift and move things for you, so you can be regulated and stay in your power and feel like you actually can influence and change your reality, and that you're not afraid of being in that present moment, and that it is something that, you know, like as someone that experienced also a lot of trauma, I know that the present moment can be so scary to be in, but it's the solution to everything. It sincerely is the solution to everything. So I'm going to leave you with that. Much love. We're going to talk to each other soon. Bye.